Hi, it's Juliet, and in this video I'm gonna draw creative trackers to track my productivity. I was on YouTube Short recently and I saw a girl filling up her tracker journal and I fell in love with the idea. I thought it was so creative and interesting, and productivity tracking is something I'm interested in, so I decided to make my own trackers. Then I realized that I like creative trackers, where it's a drawing on which you fill up a part of the drawing every time you do a task. And if I wanted drawings that were in relation to what I was gonna track as an activity, I had to draw them myself. So that's what I did, and this video relates everything I filmed while doing it. In this video, I'm first of all gonna draw them, but then also paint the background of them, so the only thing that I have to fill up is the little thing that will represent that I have done that task. I've listed 11 things that I wanted to track, so first of all there is the very basic tracker, which is sleeping hours, shower, go outside, eat healthy, work out. Then there is the more specific one, like painting, coding, editing, sewing, and painting on Pokemon cards, because I'm trying to fill up a binder of Pokemon cards that is crazy of a challenge, but I want to do one day a binder of all my art of Pokemon cards, so for that I have to paint on Pokemon cards. And the 11th one is lesson of productivity. Just stuff that I learn are working for me, for example, making a to-do list before bed, or having a small success per day, so I don't learn over and over the same lessons just because I don't write them down. So for now in the videos I have shown how I've drawn some of the drawings, only the complicated ones, and they were all out of order, so I hope that was not too confusing. It took me about 2 weeks, I would say, to make all of those drawings, and then I started painting. The goal was only to paint the backgrounds, so there would be trackers, and every time I would do the activities, I would paint in one of those things that were left blank for me to fill. The first one is about editing. I chose a stamp collection to represent that. Then it's the only one that has a board. It's the astronaut tucked into the patchwork cover. That is to track my sleeping hours. Then we have a coding one. This one was complicated because there is no coding tracker, so I couldn't find any reference of ideas of what to draw. But I made it work by choosing to do a pin board and then pinning a ton of stuff on it. I drew a bathtub with flowing bubbles for the shower, a body for the workout, a clothing rack to represent that I sew, so I'm gonna color one clothes every time I finish a project. Then the one for lessons of productivity, I don't necessarily like it. The one for painting, which is my favorite, because I really like messy, busy art. The one to represent going outside, which is a bouquet of wildflowers. Eating healthy is represented by a very big healthy meal, and every time I would eat perfectly healthy for a day, I would color one ingredient. And finally, the one to represent painting on Pokemon cards. And now I'm gonna paint the background of each drawing, and then I'm gonna leave blank the stuff that I need to color in when I do the task. For example, right there is 17 Pokeball. Every time I draw on a Pokemon card, I will paint one of the Pokeballs. For each tracker, I've decided to choose a number, which is 17. It's very random, but it's 17 for each. And I've made 17 items to color. So that means I will have finished this tracker challenge that I'm giving myself when I've done 17 of each. And it's gonna take a while. I'm not even sure I'm gonna be able to finish it this year, because it's gonna be a really long challenge. But even the setup of this challenge, drawing all of those trackers, was an activity in itself, so whatever how long it takes me, it was very fun today. For the second one, the bathtub, I decided to leave 17 bubbles uncolored, flowing out of the bathtub, and the whole rest I colored. My favorite part is the gold plumbing. I'm surprised that my palette could even achieve a gold color, but I made it work. I think it looks gold enough. I painted the soap way too colorful on purpose because I wanted colors. I also like how the watercolor gave an age effect to the bathtub itself, and I'm glad I went for purple. That was a very random choice, but I think it makes the drawing way better. For the painting phase 2, everything was filmed in a couple days because there was a lot of drawing, even though I was only painting the backgrounds. On this shot we can see on the top that I have already done the mood one. I have not filmed it because I don't really like it, but it exists, it is here. Now I'm doing the meal with 17 different ingredients. An ingredient can be composed of several of itself. For example, the broccolis, I'm gonna color all of them once I've finished one of that healthy meal task. The drawing itself of the healthy meal without the painting was one of my favorite. But honestly, once there is the painting only in the background and all the ingredients are not painted, I feel like it got way uglier. Though I want to see what it looks like when it's all painted, because maybe then it will look good again. But for now it's in an awkward stage and I'm gonna leave it like that because it's supposed to be a tracker. Then I painted the pinboard. I decided to make it green, which is unrealistic, but out of my palette, I just chose my favorite color and it happens to be green on this palette, so green pinboard it is. For this drawing, I wouldn't say that I chose the color really well. The background, I'm not really sure about that yellow, but I'm still glad that I have a tracker about coding because that is quite rare. One exists at least. Then I tackled the big drawing, the one about the craft room. It took me so long to draw this one because there were so many details, but I did it step by step. I spent a couple of days just painting details when I could, and then I took color pencil that I found in my bedroom, which must be 15 years old minimum. So they were not the best color pencil, but they worked enough for what I wanted to do, which was the flooring details. So all of the straight lines basically say, no way I can paint that. And also I decided to do a wallpaper, also with straight lines. So those are the two things done with color pencils on this drawing. This one was my favorite as a drawing, but I'm not sure I gave it justice by painting it. Not saying I dislike it, because I like how colorful it is, but I guess I was imagining something different in my head. One thing that I do really like is all of the personal details of this drawing. For example, some of those drawings looks like drawings that I have displayed in my craft room. There is my cat, I can recognize it from afar. And I think I've posted a short of this drawing, specifically with the carousel. There is diaries on the floor because I like art journal. There is a suitcase full of fabric because I really like to sew. My painting tablet is on the floor. And for this drawing, if you're wondering, I'm gonna fill up this garland, I would say, that is on the door. I left 17 little paper. It was too perfect because the door was exactly 34 panels, so I had to. Then for the astronaut under the patchwork cover, I tried to do little patchwork that had a relationship with space, but there is a limited amount of stuff you can put on that. What was good for me is that I like naive art, so I tried to do naive art, which is easier to do than very precise stuff. For the colors, I just went extremely randomly, and I think it's the exact technique to draw naive art. It's pretty much just go with the flow and it will appear, which it did on this patchwork cover. And for this tracker, this is just an illustration, and I'm gonna fill up the grid with the arrows I slapped. The closing rack was really easy painting, I just painted the rack gold. And so I'm done with all of my trackers, and I'm gonna present them completely out of order. So are you ready for a very random selection of trackers? The first one is for showering, then we have painting on Pokemon cards, then coding, specifically on my video games or personal project, sports, which I struggle with that skin tone, sewing, particularly a finished project in sewing, then going outside. I've painted nothing for that, but there is 17 flowers. Eating healthy, I'm not a big fan right now, but I hope it looks better later. Lessons of productivity, editing. I tried to make it look like an old page, I'm not sure it came through, but with the colorful stamps it might look better. And then the two best one, the crafting room to represent painting, and the astronaut in the patchwork cover to represent sleeping. And I'm done with my 11 trackers. I'm quite happy about what I made. Obviously all of those are unfinished artwork, so I'm quite curious what they're gonna look like when they're all done, which is my new challenge now, I guess, to fill them up doing 17 of each activity. Some are gonna be really easy and some are gonna be really difficult. I wonder how long it's gonna take me. Bye!